A very warm welcome to all, and I'm indeed very grateful that you could find time to participate in the seminar that is very close to my heart. I'm indeed grateful to Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, the Army Commander our track, who accepted my proposal during his visit on 9th June 2021, this year itself, to Chinarkot for facilitating the seminar on a contemporary topic. The killings of 11 unarmed civilians in the past few days has unfortunately contextualized the seriousness of the seminar, that is, human rights violations by terrorists and how they have affected Kashmiri citizens in the last 30 years or so. The worst is the deafening silence in the local, national, and international HR groups and media houses to the killing and similar HR violations perpetrated by the Nexus over these 3 decades in Jammu and Kashmir. They would cry hoarse to all and sundry, including United Nations, for even periodic cuts in the internet as denial of human rights. Even these cuts prevented human tragedies through orchestrated, compelled, or paid street violence by gullible 14-15-year-olds, orchestrated by Pakistan affiliates through white-collar terrorists who are more dangerous than a criminal or a terrorist. Are not these killings denial of HR of affected families? A young adopted Muslim girl has her foster mother in Mrs. Supinder Kaur killed, while entire government boys high secondary school of Eidgah, Srinagar, lost its principal, a teacher, and the students introduced to the environment of fear, where they will see the spots of the killing forever. What about the HR of the family of Makhanlal Bindru, who lost their father, husband, and breadwinner? What about Mohammad Shafi Lone, a mere taxi driver, who was killed on 5th October 2021? He has, by the way, 8 family members: an aged mother, of ill father, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, and a wife. Don't they have any human rights? While security forces should be held accountable for these killings, but why are the HR proponents silent to take the responsibilities of such mindless violence to the perpetrators who are well known, orchestrating all these activities from somewhere behind the cover of law and rule? Allow me to delve into the broader subject of denial of basic human rights, such as daily economic activity, particularly of daily wagers, small shopkeepers, taxi drivers, bus owners, street hawkers, tourist guides, even the mule drivers, whose very survival depends upon daily routine population movement through entire valley. Under societal pressure, majority of these population remain mute to the calls of protest and bunts, wherein a small segment of privileged class thrives on an agenda of palpable fear through gullible teenage youths. Bunts and protest ensure closure of school and colleges, thus denying fundamental rights of education to students who want to attend classes. Possibly the only segment that benefits are the salaried class who get to stay at home, or the Nexus affiliates whose family and children stay south of Pir Panjal or study abroad. So is the case of denial of basic human rights to the women population, 50% of the population actually. Imagine a young girl's brand, Prakash, was hankered to be closed in 2013 before it could even start its journey. While the modern and the metropolitan Kashmiri society watched silently. This year itself, through the army of trolls within the Kashmir Valley and through the social media terrorists led by Pakistan and the elements staying abroad, They got after the young women who participated in various art and culture events early this year. I am sure everybody is aware of this event. So much so, the goons of TRF, the so-called pseudonym of Lashkar-e-Tauba, had issued a diktat for the girls wearing trousers. That is what is happening in our Kashmir Valley, which is supposed to be a modern and very, very metropolitan and advanced society. Aren't these issues affecting the human rights violation for the women of our society? HR organizations led by Nexus can implicate security forces on trumped charges of human rights violations to hype the passion of population. The same is not true. Is it not the same true for the HR violation perpetuated by the Nexus for fear of retribution? A common local refrain is, they have the gun, you have the law, and therefore we may not be able to speak up. While the local population may stay quiet, but the leaders of HR organizations and media houses who are living in comfort at a distance from the valley can definitely speak up on these issues of HR violation perpetuated by the Nexus. Therefore, if they don't speak, the women will be oppressed. People who don't obey the orders and diktat of the Nexus will be killed. Children, orphaned, and wives widowed. A poor laborer, a diligent principal, a loving teacher, a family man taxi driver, either Hindu, Muslim, or Sikh, even though unarmed and not even associated with security forces, will continue to be killed on the streets. A policeman, after doing his duty, having attended to sermons in the mosque while visiting his family on leave, will be killed by the cowards on payrolls of antisocial and regressive elements of the society. These acts of violence committed by state, non-state actors will continue if not treated as human rights violations. They are required to be held accountable. Those who feel that only minority or somebody else is affected by such barbaric, dastardly acts, or it is better to remain mute to the call of widespread protests and bunds. I will just try and quote what a German pastor, Martin Niemöller, said in 1945. In Germany, they came for the communist, and I did not speak because I was not a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I did not speak because I was a Protestant. Then they came for me, and by that time there was no one left to speak for me. So gentlemen, ladies, and HR organizations, media houses, do speak up now. I wish and I hope we have an exciting discussion on the seminar, a great question answer sessions to draw various lessons at the end of this 2 days event. Thank you all. Thank you for attending this seminar. Thank you. Jai Hind.